Now this is a small little painting tip that a lot of people really don't know this. Believe me, I know. How do I know? I know what you're saying. But believe me, here's what the problem is. I've painted this part of a windshield. The clear is going to end and I don't want to have clear on the glass, on the plexiglass. But here's what would normally happen here. And I'm going to just pull off the tinfoil now to show this. When you're done with this, and this could be a model plane, it could be it could be anything, where you want to end the clear. Or even if you're doing a repair area and you want to end the repair. And you don't want to have the clear have a big step or an edge. So this is, and I don't even have to use this, I can use that paper over again. This is one of those tricks that I used to use in modeling where I'd end the clear every time I'd put another coat of clear on it. And this is ready to sand and put the next coat of clear on. I can hardly feel the edges. I've got a little bit of a run in the corner, which doesn't mean anything at all. But what I don't want to have is a step at the end of the clear. So what I do, you would think this is kind of self-evident, but it really isn't. A lot of people don't know that this is one of the really good tricks. Now, if you can see up close, I wanted to show this. See, I don't know about our macro lens here. You can see what's happened. Let me just try to point it out. The first coat of clear ended at the paint. The second one ended, see, just a little bit past it. Now I'm going to move the tape back about a 1/64 of an inch. So in essence, instead of having one big giant step, I'm going to have 3 or 4 little steps. And that's going to make that blend. When I buff this out with the buffer, I'm going to buff the windshield. And by the way, the plexiglass, if you get a scratch on it, the headlights on your car, the same compound we've been using for buffing out the paint, the 4C, or actually any of the compounds, they seem to take the scratches right out of the windshield with that little orbital buffer. Now see, even though I'm not going to see this side, I still want to have the edge. There's a poem that says the gods see everywhere. Now see, I could feel that little edge. It's not real definitive, but it's an edge. Well, when we're done, I'd like that to be just the slightest edge possible. So what I need to do is just retape this. Kind of simple, kind of self-explanatory too, and I need to look down at the exactly where this is going, because I don't want to go back over the same edge over and over again. This will just make for a little bit neater job. The kind of little details that you can overlook them. And by the way, this blue tape has worked out very nice. It comes, there's all different kinds of tapes now. It's every time I go to Gavin's, I wind up buying $20 worth of new tape that he says is the newest and greatest tape ever. And of course, they're probably all the same, but on the back here, I don't really want to have it. And part of developing any painting skill is the ability to repair things and not see the repair. Not see where the new clear ends, where the old clear begins. This is not real critical. This is behind the instruments. You won't even see it actually, but the gods see everywhere. Heard from longtime friend Leon Bowen. He's a modeler and a motorcyclist both. Leon, thanks for the nice words. He enjoys sitting down every night and watching the videos. Or is he in prison and the warden makes him? I don't know, maybe that's his punishment. Anyway, I always keep the hairdryer handy. The reason is, if I start pulling up tape and it starts pulling up paint or anything unusual, I like to have the hairdryer and just warm it. But since this has been sitting in the house, I can use the same tape over and over, the same back mask here. This won't even matter. Again, this windshield has two things that we're trying to accomplish. The other one does have some issues that look like, and I was afraid that like the FZR, just one day it would just crack. There are some parts that aren't perfect. This one isn't perfect either, it's used. But by having two, if one cracks in the middle of the summer, I can just, next summer, I can go right through it. Now, what I'm able to do, put the tape away. Now what this is going to give me the option of doing, get out my little sanding block. I like the little nail file, and I just get down in there and roughen that edge up. Just take the top off the mountain. And the rest of this I'll wet sand out with 1000 grit, and it'll be ready then. The next time we shoot clear, it'll be sitting over on a work table and ready to shoot the clear. Little details, little details just seem to make all the difference in the final product. No matter what you're painting. I mean, one of the things I do remember is painting a guitar for a friend, and we did some pretty nice airbrush work on it and whatever. And when I put the clear on, he came over and he said, "Well, how do you do that?" Well, with airbrush, it's easy. It disappears. But especially with these kind of paints that need 2 or 3 coats, there's pretty much of an edge you have to bury and clear. Now, one of the tricks to burying that edge, again, these are soft, so they conform to the curve, and I can just go over that edge. And what I always do is until the end of a job, I leave the paint, the color that I'm using, in the spray gun. So if I were to go through on an edge or a corner or something, well, it wouldn't be, I just go over there, put some tape, and it's done. When you have to load the gun, clean the gun, you tend to not, you just tend to be a little sloppier, I guess. I don't know. But that's always served me well, and because the spray guns are so cheap at Harbor Freight, when you get them on sale, they come out to be with the discount under 10 bucks each. You can have one for every color you're ever going to use. And just keep them full of paint or thinner, and you never even have to clean them. Now, just to show that, and again, I'm trying to show this up close. What I'm trying to do, if you can see the scratches, now I almost can't feel that, almost. The next coat of clear will seal that in. Now I also have, see what usually happens is you build up paint along an edge. The paint, for whatever reason, it wants to sit in this gully. Well, that's relatively easy to take care of. And I'm not even going to do it wet because I want to see how much I'm taking off. But prepping this up for its next coat of clear. And then when I'm all done, I'll wet sand it all out with 1000 grit. This is 600. This will just get rid of that corner. Small detail. But everything in this kind of work, everything is a small detail. And I typically don't load up the spray gun and mix up, because you have to mix up, the minimum amount I can mix up is 5 ounces. And because the paint has gotten so expensive, it's crazy how much the money the paint is. I wait till I have 2 or 3 things to put clear coat on. And I have my FZR parts, they'll be ready. As soon as we get Luciano's stickers, we'll be ready to do his clear coats. And we're coming up on a point now, this is actually ready. I can almost not feel that edge, almost. Of course, when it's done, this will all get buffed out. And by the way, I found out you can buff these out. If you have a real scratch, you can use 2500 grit paper wet, and then that buffer. In fact, next time we have a windshield we got to restore, I think we'll do that on camera. Anyway, I think that's a tip you can pretty much use. Moving that tape back a little bit, block sanding out over the stripes. Good basic information.